One life-changing book I can say that I can attach to Remax is I was in a super dark place in my life. Is 2015. I couldn't even, I was paralyzed. I was just on the couch.
Just like depression.
Yes. But this book helped me get up, start wanting to get up, paying attention to my view, and loving life again.
Wow.
And that was that book.
Hey everybody, we are here today with Shawna Frazier. She's the team leader of the Frazier Group. She's been with Remax Results. It was her 20-year anniversary this year.
Yes.
We're very happy to have her part of the Remax Results family, and really looking forward to learning a little bit more about her team, and how they are navigating this market, this crazy market that we're in these days. But first, before we get started, we gotta go back a little bit in time and have Shawna tell us a little bit about her background. Where are you from? You know, where'd you grow up, and how did little Shawna wind up being a real estate agent? Let's start.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I am originally from Minnesota.
Okay.
So I grew up in Minneapolis. I say South and North. People say, no, you got to choose one side, but I'm really from both sides. I lived in South Minneapolis a lot of in my life, and I also lived in North. Mm-hmm. And funny short story about how I got started in real estate.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that, the late infomercials. Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of those people that watch those. And, I was watching, late night I was watching, dating myself, Carlton Sheets. And he was on one night talking about, how would you like to have 30 checks in your mailbox a month? And I was like, yeah. And at that time I was in college.
Okay.
And I was working. Mind you, I was in college failing miserably, but
Okay.
I was in college, and yeah, he said something. So I bought the package, and one of the things he said is to contact a real estate agent. And so I connected with a real estate agent to buy my first duplex, and that agent was amazing. And I guess he thought I was as well, because he said, he asked the questions that real estate agents ask, like, do you know anybody who's interested in buying or selling, or, interested in buying a duplex like yourself? Mm-hmm. And so I was so excited about this. I started giving him names and telling people, and he came back and asked me, have you ever thought about getting your real estate license? And I hadn't thought about it, but it sounded like something, since I wasn't doing so good in school, that, I should pursue. So I ended up getting my real estate license, and, I started with Coldwell Banker, and that agent was my mentor. Okay. And just a really great guy. He's no longer here with us, but he is the one who got me started in real estate.
So your first, and by the way, where were you going to school?
I was going to Minnesota School of Business.
Sometimes you gotta, the school of sort of hard knocks, right? Or just just be done with the education component and just go start making. What were you envisioning when you went to school?
So
what do you want to do?
Yeah, so I actually started as network support specialist.
Okay.
My uncle and my aunt owned a successful IT company, and I was young, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so he's like, "Hey, do this, and I can guarantee that you'll make this." So it was totally not something that I wanted to do.
Passionate about.
No,
Okay.
And then I got in there, and the words were like words I couldn't even pronounce. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? And so I stuck with that, but then I transferred to business. Okay. And then I ended up finishing that, and then then the real estate came along.
But you finished your degree.
Yeah, in business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But network support, I tried it though. I did try, because, like I said, my uncle and aunt had a very successful company, and the numbers he showed me at the time was a lot, and I was like, ooh, yeah, let me, check into this. But
if you don't, I don't know, if you don't like what you're doing, you're going to spend 40 plus hours of your life every week doing it.
Oh, and they would stay up with me. I loved them. They would stay up with me. They would help me with my homework, and I know they were looking like, girl, because they really would, take the time out to try to make sure that I passed some of the classes. But yeah, and some of them I did, but it was forced. It never was something that I really had a passion for.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you bought your duplex, that was so that you're watching the late night infomercial, and this is what pre-internet times, right? So Did it come in the mail? Like a
It was. I got the package to purchase them from Cartoon Sheets,
Okay.
and it was this big brown folder with all this great information in it. And I mean, I was so excited, to get started with that. I mean,
yeah.
it's still something I'm very passionate with.
Was that multifamily ownership? That kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you bought your first duplex, and I mean, how'd that go? Being, you're the landlord, right?
Yeah. So I would say it went great. And then in the process of me doing the duplex, that's when I was started to get my real estate license.
Okay.
So because I was excited about it and had the, knowing of what you should be doing, and then I started telling other people about it.
And then they started following suit.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so eventually you get your license, you're able to be their realtor and help them identify those properties and become.
Absolutely.
What were some things that you learned as a new young landlord?
Everything. Because I was, I don't always say experience is the best teacher, because I feel like there's some things that you just don't have to try to know that this wasn't any good for you. But it was a lot. I was nice, like probably too nice, letting, just, oh, don't worry about that, security deposits, rental license, doing things that you absolutely have to do. No, I didn't do those things. So that's my goal, is always making sure people are.
So you got burned a couple of times?
Yeah.
You still have some rental properties that you manage?
Yes.
How many?
A couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you looking to do more, or are you
That's my goal.
Okay.
Yeah. And one of my goals is to help people become, if it's one of their dreams is to become wealthy through real estate, is that. And, I got in there, I want to help people become millionaires through real estate. And so a millionaire. So how do I do that? And it's like own $1 million worth of real estate.
Okay.
Very simple.
That's true.
If I said millionaire, I meant to say own $1 million worth of real estate. How do we do that? And so we just go backwards. So that's one of the things I do for my clients.
Okay. What is somebody who wants to, with that lofty goal in mind, but just to get into a multifamily, property ownership now? What are some things that they should know, trying to get into that, trying to break into that game?
A lot. And I teach them a course on, teach them how to go about doing that. But what it entails. It isn't all glitz and glam, being a landlord. But just the things they need to know is like their down payment, if they're going to own or occupy, or if they're going to live in it. Or if they're going to just be in it, rent it out.
Right.
I teach them the things that they'll need to have, like the rental license, the things that they need to check for when they're looking for a tenant, how to navigate that, because that can be, not always renting to your cousins or your aunts or your.
Sometimes you got to rent to strangers, and you don't know who those people are.
And sometimes family don't understand that. You don't actually, there's a mortgage that needs to be paid.
Right.
So sometimes they think they can give you, if the mortgage is due on the 1st, they can give it to you on the 10th. So property management, it's a lot of things that I teach them.
So you offer a course.
I do.
And where would somebody be able to learn from you in that course?
Online, or reach out to me.
So you're just copying the guy you saw on late night TV.
You want to know something? I promise you. When I thought about this, I said that. I just had that epiphany that, hold on, I bought a course from him, and literally for the last 10 years, I've been teaching it.
And on what, like YouTube or?
So no, I teach it in classes. So I teach, so the course, yes, is online, but I teach at Remax Results offices. I teach small groups of, I teach home buyer classes, I teach investment classes, and selling classes. Teaching sellers how to get top dollar for their home.
And are they live?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So with the pandemic, we were doing them Zoom.
Sure.
But before the pandemic, because I've been teaching them for years, they come in. So they would come in this room, and then I would teach them, give them workbooks and all that fun stuff, and just educate them on the process from A to Z.
Yeah. That's good. Get them anywhere you can, right? I didn't mean to, accuse you of it. I think that's awesome that you
mean
literally
no,
teaching.
You mean she's still in his course?
Yeah, well, like
Oh.
the fact that was the way, you got into it. Like you're just looking to pass on that,
Always.
that opportunity to the next
Yes.
person because it's worked out great for you.
Always. And, I always say that, with everything in real estate, like people help me, so I help them.
Yeah.
I've been one of those fortunate people that have agents share with me their secrets, if you want to say, and I feel like I've always done that as well.
What do you think what are the big challenges for someone trying to, get by their first duplex right now or first multifamily? What's the market been like?
So I would say a couple of things. One is the challenge is, of course, right now it's inventory.
Yeah.
But the biggest challenge I feel is with in investment property or home buyers or selling, it's just being educated on the process. So I always tell buyers that, they're in a frenzy, and investors and, the rates. And I always say to them, like, the rates are everything. We know that. But it's really about the payment. It's about the monthly payment. So with the home buyer, you don't want to overextend yourself. So know what it is that you're going to pay. And then that's what we look for.
Yeah.
Right. And even with investing, it's all about the profit.
It's a cash flow, right?
Yeah. So if it isn't, and so when we know what A is, then we get to be an equal. You know what I mean? So it's like just knowing the number.
Yeah. Are you finding that, even with rates being up, and inventory is a challenge right now, are the listings in that investment sort of category of the properties on the market, are they cash flowing? Are they still?
Some are.
Yeah, some of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them aren't, right?
Yeah, because for sure. But I would say it depends on the investor too.
Sure.
It depends on how they go in. So some people are buying with 20% down.
Yeah.
They rather put their 20% here than the stock market.
Right.
Or, some people are buying with 5% down, or lower down payment. And then it's really important, again, just like what they're getting, because rents are so high right now as well. So, there is some cash flow. Now, the last few years, it's been crazy cash flow.
Yeah.
Versus when I first got started in real estate, it wasn't that much. It wasn't that if you were putting the lease down, it wasn't that much. You might profit $200 to $500, and that was a profit. It still was good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and in the last few years, it was $1,000, $1,500 extra, and now with the rates being a little higher, it's not as much.
And there's a difference too, maybe the kind of investment property, right? I think been more stable and desirable to get into, a multifamily unit that would involve like, yearly rents or, something like that. Whereas certain Airbnb type of shorter term rentals, there's a lot of things in the news about those being problematic and not cash flowing, right? And I think it's important for, buyers to be educated to understand which one has more upside or risk with it.
Yes. And I will honestly say I haven't did that many Airbnbs, but I have had speakers come into my classes and teach the difference in, how to run an Airbnb. But there is a lot of things in the news. And I don't know if it's hit Minnesota as it's hit other states.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're different. And just to speak, like Airbnbs is one form. There's people rent rooms, people rent to travel nurses. There's just all kind of ways how you can make money when you're investing.
Well, the big one to be watching is right now New York City passing in the ordinance essentially that you only can do Airbnbs in New York City if you're going to be an owner, if you live in that unit, because I think they have a lot of problems with just people renting out units and it's causing disturbances for all the neighbors and other things like that. And that's obviously going to really disrupt a lot of investors who purchased
it. Yeah.
Haven't seen since then. I think that was a few weeks ago. Any other big cities follow yet, but it'll be interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because that could also free up inventory.
That's true. Yeah. Because you said New York. I heard New York and I heard Texas and Atlanta.
Yeah, and I think there's probably others too.
Okay.
And then there's a whole nother component, which I think besides cities enacting legislation, is that like in Florida or other places where the investments aren't working, like they're not cash flowing or they're becoming too expensive. Florida is really expensive to have insurance.
Oh yes. I've been hearing about that too. Yes.
So those premiums are going way up, and so now it doesn't cash flow anymore, right? But we don't have hurricanes here in Minnesota. We got shoveling. And
Oh yeah.
so how often did you have to go shovel one of your own duplexes or get the snowblower out?
I never was that person.
Okay.
Nope. I've always had someone to do that.
Well, that's good.
Yep. And when my son was younger, he used to do the yards. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about you and your family. Let's tell us a little bit more about who's Shawna the person behind the successful real estate empire that she's creating.
Okay. I would say right now, one of the things that I love is I love my granddaughter. She is so precious to me. I don't remember loving my kids as much as I love this little girl. And I say that because they say it's a different feeling when you're a grandmother, but it definitely is. She is the sweetest thing. I will say me and my daughter now, we're getting closer. You know, kids, they get to a certain age where they don't like you.
Oh, yeah.
You're boring.
What's that
You don't know anything,
Yeah.
you know. But now my daughter is coming around like, I'm not so boring. And guess what? Mom knows everything. So I'm loving that, you know. About me, I love to travel. I always have. My grandfather started me with that. I love to read, and I'm finding more time to read now, which is making me feel good because when I don't read, I feel like I'm off. And so I've been finding a lot more time to read, which makes me feel on.
Tell me about that. What kind of books do you like to read? What are the books that maybe had the most impact on you in your life?
Okay. So I just got through finishing, I'm a God's girl. So I just got through from finishing Becoming the Woman That God Wants You to Be. Definitely a life changer. That is a good book. Has a lot of gems in that one. I just finished that one. It was a 90-day book that you did like little assignments in.
Okay.
Life-changing books. So I do read a lot of self-help business books. But one life-changing book I can say that I can attach to Remax is I was in a super dark place in my life. It was 2015, and Brenda put me in this book club. She put me in this book club, and the book was called Miracle Mornings. And like I said, I was in a dark place. I couldn't even, was paralyzed. I was just on the couch.
Just like depression.
Yes. And this book is called Miracle Mornings. It was a real estate edition. There's a few of them. And it was about your mornings, you know, getting up. You know what I mean? So it definitely helped me get up. It helped me appreciate my view.
Okay.
And it was with a group of people. So everyone kind of had to journal and get up. And I always journaled. I've always been that person. But this book helped me get up, start wanting to get up, paying attention to my view, and loving life again.
Wow.
And that was that book. And then I feel like it's a part 2 to this book. It's called 7 Levels of Communication. Okay. And so that was another life-changing book. That book really helped me because I was doing a lot of the things in that book. So I can really relate to it. And it's more like on educating.
Okay.
So a lot of my business has come from educating clients. And so he had one-on-ones, education.
Oh, 7 different ways that you communicate.
Yes.
Okay.
So 7 levels of different, that you communicate. And so I looked at that book and I implemented a few of them that I wasn't doing, and I went stronger on the ones that I was doing. So I said life changing because it really this was in 2015. Okay. So I've been doing this for a while. So what it did is it helped me to really know who I am and what I like to do in real estate.
What were the things that you weren't doing that you did?
One-on-ones.
Okay.
Yes, one-on-ones. Getting deeper with the client appreciation parties. I've always did something. One of the things I love that I did do is have a database of CRM. But this book helped me get on a deeper level. So the one-on-ones, connecting with my clients or people that I work with in the industry, just frogging them, I would say.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? Getting to know them on a different level. So that's what I wasn't doing before the books.
And so we're able to, maybe starting with a smaller idea of just getting up and facing with purpose. Did you have other help to kind of help you pull yourself out of that situation that you were in? Or was it just,
It was a group.
It was a
because
group.
we would all have to do assignments.
Okay.
And, the assignment was getting up and taking a picture of your view and
Wow.
journaling.
Okay.
And so that was definitely, I always say, John has been a true friend to me over the last 20 years, because when I was reading that book, I actually did reach out to him, and he helped me tremendously.
Really?
Yeah, he always has. Just his words of encouragement,
Mm-hmm.
has been very helpful
Okay.
for sure.
Well, that's John Colopy, the owner of this company, and Brenda
Yeah.
Tusshouse, who put you on this book group, and just
Oh.
they're looking out for you.
Listen, Brenda, she doesn't even know. She's the one who got me started on social media. She literally sat down, and I was one of those people that never really believed in social media. Like, I don't know if you heard of MySpace. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So there was a rapper. He had a title like, "I'm too busy in MySpace to be on MySpace." So I used to say that, like, I'm not getting on no social media, but it has been definitely a game changer for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start doing that?
So I got on social media. She signed me up in 2009, but my mother passed away in 2013. So if you were to look, social media, I started kind of like I was going through something, but all my mom's friends were on social media. So I kind of started talking then, and that's when it changed.
How do you engage with like? Are you doing posts? Are you doing videos? Like, what are you?
Yep,
trying to
I do both.
Okay.
And I'm not as like, some agents will say, "Oh, I don't like social media. I don't want people in my business." And I always say, "Well, give them some business, because it doesn't have to be necessary. It's what you want to say."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's just always been like maybe a quote, maybe a video, something just uplifting.
Not necessarily real estate related.
No, not all the time, but I do real estate.
Yeah.
Some agents will say, "Oh, that's," I'll show, when I might have had a closing or something, and I know a lot of people were like, "That's bragging," and to me, it's just merely just saying, like, especially if you're telling a story about it, like, I was able to help this person go from A to Z, because people need to see that.
Well, people want positivity in their lives. That's what I think you pull that from books.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you then taking some of the things and the wisdom that you've read in these books and then using that to sort of
Always.
spread the message?
Always. Yes.
Okay.
Always.
I'm noticing this theme here, which is that something has happened in your life that made it better, and then you're turning around and passing that message forward to more people.
Oh, yeah.
You did that with the video. I mean, the late night video that got you into real estate. You're doing that with, the books you're reading and everything else.
Yeah. And I would say too, because real estate is such a hot topic, people do want to know what's going on, especially right now. So I'm learning to do video, even though I do not like how I look or sound. I'm doing it.
Okay.
So
you're doing it right now, and you're doing great.
Well, thank you. I hope that no, I'm just playing. No. Yeah.
So where do you find the time? I mean, or do you have a very strict structure to your day, or you get to do your journaling and get to find the time for your reading? You said that's, again, reading is really important to keep you grounded. How do you make sure that you incorporate that into your busy life?
Really, really good question. So when I'm doing good, I am actually really structured. So I'm one of those that get up at 5 a.m, start my reading, meditating, praying, and then following a schedule.
Okay.
So following a schedule so I can have a life. Is I'm like, okay, there's 168 hours in a day. How many hours am I going to work? When am I going to work out? So I'm one of those people that when I'm structured, I feel really good, and I'm able to have a life.
Okay.
Do I get thrown
off? Are you always perfect? Yeah.
Well, you see what happened today. You know what I mean? So things, life is always life, and so things always are happening. But my goal is to always jump back on to try not to get too off track.
And the beauty is like, okay, today didn't go well, but tomorrow
is
another day.
Yes.
And you recognized the way you wake up, and sort of that you taught yourself that. Yeah. Right? As a way to, put yourself in a place where you are now, a better place now, that you had to embrace and really, recognize how just an important a small thing like waking up is.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and looking your view on things.
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm glad that I taught myself. I actually taught myself to be disciplined to do it because I did learn it from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I learned it, and when I started doing it, I learned that I loved it. I loved having more structured life. I need it because I can be all over the place.
Yeah. Well, we all can. I mean, but
Yeah.
Well, we got to talk for a few minutes about your team.
Okay.
You built, you started in this business yourself. You had a mentor. Since then, since being with Remax Results, you created the Frazier Group.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Okay, so that was purely me getting busy and couldn't handle the business anymore and not, keeping my word.
Mm-hmm.
And your word is everything.
Okay,
right?
to your clients.
To my clients. Okay. And so, I remember taking this class and I was like, okay, because I never had a desire to have a team. I mean, I feel like we always have a team in real estate, right? Because even as a solo agent, you have your
broker, the staff, everybody around you. Yep.
Yes, that's your team.
Mm-hmm.
So, but to have people that actually help me in my business was a different. So when I started getting busy, I said, okay, I would love to, someone to help me with this. And so I started educating myself. I took a class, I remember, where I wrote down all the things that I wanted to have and be and see and do. And in 2017, I wrote that letter, and they mail you the letter within 1 year. And in
Oh, is this like a business coaching kind of class?
Yeah.
Like a Ninja or one of those things? Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those classes.
Okay, gotcha.
Probably shouldn't say on the microphone. No, It was one of those classes, but it was phenomenal, where you write yourself a letter and, they mail it to you in a year later. And I am a manifestor. I believe in all that. And literally within that 1 year, almost everything on that list happened.
Really?
For me, except I didn't get the husband. But I did get a lot of things.
Okay.
And so one was a team. So I started the team and started getting trained on how to train people, train agents. And it felt really, really good to be able to see agents go from A to Z, and also, help them and why they're also helping me.
Yeah.
With the clients that I had, and to be able to help them in their business.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling.
And it's a great feeling. You I know in talking with you, you put a lot of effort into the people on your team.
Yes.
You put a lot of yourself and we've talked about that in the past, of just about, when you join it, somebody joins your team, you are investing in them just as much as they are investing sort of in you.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're a teacher. I think that's what I think that deep down, I think that's what you do, is you have a desire to teach people.
I love to do it. Yeah, I love it. And I love the team because I feel like real estate can be a lonely business.
Yeah. It
could be lonely. And that's one of the things that I really liked about Remax versus when I was at Coldwell. Remax, these agents were working. Mm-hmm. they were working. They weren't, not to talk about, any other company, but these definitely are the best agents because they're doing their job, and other companies, they would be having fun versus yeah.
I think that's the important thing that anyone who's not in this business doesn't really always recognize. Yes, it's a very isolating business, even though you're surrounded by people all the time.
Yes,
you're the captain of your own ship. You're building everything. You're the only one responsible for your own success. Oh, yeah. And as much as we maybe would post and publish all of our successes, there's a heck of a lot more failures.
Oh, goodness.
that don't get talked about. That can really weigh on a person.
Yeah.
And really, try to slow them down in improving themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I totally. I always say, this, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do real estate, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not easy.
You gotta be tough.
You
gotta be resilient.
Yeah, and you have to always be educating yourself, always learning. I've been in the business for a little while now, and I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. And I'm not afraid to, you need to have the right people around you that are going to educate you and let you know when you need to, you need to know different things, because this business is forever changing.
So let's manifest that. What is something in the next year that you want to learn more about to make your business better?
Ooh, good one. That I want to learn more about development in properties.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Like new construction, property development. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna put a timestamp on this, and this is gonna come back in 1 year. We're gonna tag this.
Yeah.
And
Oh
see,
my
see
goodness.
if that,
Yes. Yeah. You maybe be able to help me with that too.
Okay.
So
I'd be happy to.
Yeah. And then I would say my goal is to continue to help buyers, sellers, and investors get to the, with their real estate goals. So, whether if you're buying a home and you want to buy a house this year or you want to buy a house in 10 years, I want to be that person, that go-to person. If you're a seller, I love working with sellers. Sellers are, I love working with all my clients. I love all my clients. But if you're a seller and you're looking to sell, we have a proven marketing system, a proven marketing plan that's custom made for every seller. So I want to help them get top dollar. And, I love when we're able to take our time with that, not, fire sale. But if you're an investor, again, my goal is to help investors that want to, build wealth for themselves in this market. I want to be that go-to agent.
And so what is it something that people should understand about this market as we're sitting here talking in, 2023, and maybe you're looking ahead, what would your message be to, someone thinking about it or who has questions about what's going on out there these days?
I think if someone's thinking about buying a home, to educate themselves, what we do, educate people on a monthly basis, and know what they need to know what it is that they're looking to do. And I help them with that too. So if they want to become a homeowner, but they're nervous because the interest rates are, know the payment that you want to pay.
Right.
Know what you want to pay, and then everything will be okay. If it's out there, then we'll find it.
Right.
Because to me, the education is important because I feel like the media's, it's just doom and gloom, and it's not always doom and gloom. Sellers, if they're thinking about selling, a lot of times they're, I heard the market's going to have an agent have me come out and tell you, run the numbers for you. Because a lot of, almost all the sellers I worked with in the past year have, if not almost or six figures in their home. So I know the average seller they're saying has over like $274,000 worth of equity.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of it. And so just understanding what they can do with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, I don't want to go too deep, but just understanding.
It's a customization. Every client's needs are different.
Yeah.
And the idea is there's no cookie cutter answer to any of this.
Yeah.
What a real estate agent is like a consultant that can really sit down with them one-on-one, understand their concerns and questions and figure out what's best for them, help them figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I agree.
As we kind of wrap up, is there anyone that you think about, you got to this point in your life that you want to honor and give thanks to, who's been instrumental in you being where you are today and being able to have the opportunity to have this platform?
I have to say one person. One? Mm-hmm. Ooh.
No, you can. I'll give you two.
You call and give a shout out on the radio. I want to give a shout out to no.
Right, yeah.
It's so many. I have been blessed to have some wonderful people in my life. I've already gave a shout out to John. He knows who he's been to me, and my family. My aunt and uncle, they have been there for me. Like I said, even college times. And up to now, just wisdom, knowledge, just my grandmother, you know what I mean? I can say a lot,
okay.
But I only had a few people.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I only given you a few, so.
And agents, like I said, I had a lot of wonderful agents that have always helped me, and that's why I love helping agents as well.
Well, Shawna, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. This is wonderful.